All right. Hey, everyone. Happy Halloween. I'm Waller's Wallet. And the other week, I had a question by a viewer by the name of My View asking me if I would look at how to use some partners to use it for American Express points. That he wanted to avoid Delta, but he was looking for some partners. So I figured I'd have a live event, walk through some couple options. And as I always do, I will be answering your questions towards the end of this video. So this is a bit typical. This is a little bit different than my typical live events where I just typically talk things. But I always tell people you should learn the basics of these programs. So I'll walk through a couple of these examples here for you. And full transparency, I don't know every single data point of every single program, but I do believe I have a decent understanding of them. So one thing, so I'll be sharing my screen with you tonight as well. So let's go ahead and make this larger. So one thing I like to tell people, they should always start with Award Wallet or Award Hacker if they're newer to award travel. So, and the reason for that, let's go over here. I actually had pulled some up here, but we'll do another one. So let's say you want to looking for tickets from JFK over to Seattle, and you didn't know where to start as far as points, miles, or what that's going to cost you here. So yeah, man, it's going a little bit slow right now. All right. For some reason, it goes a little bit slower, but this gives you a baseline of what this is going to cost you. So this doesn't necessarily mean there's space available. It does tell you if it just gives you a baseline of points. So you can see here, using Korean Airlines, flying on Alaskan Airlines, you can find a JFK to Seattle for 20,000 points round trip, which is pretty good. But you'd need, and it tells you how you would go about booking these here. Again, it's just a general guideline, kind of giving you a baseline of what the minimum amount of points is going to be required to fly that. Does not mean that space is available. Now let's take a look at a couple programs, and I'm going to show you a couple examples as well. So the first program we're going to talk about, that's a membership reward program. Transfer partner is Aeroplan. Now Aeroplan is part of Star Alliance, and now you're going to be using your miles on Aeroplan to be flying on United, which is also part of Star Alliance. So an Airplane actually allows a domestic stopover in the United States, which is a great way to add value to your points. So a general rule of thumb for award tickets when looking for partners, there generally needs to be saver availability in order to see partner airlines. So you need, if you were curious, you'd have to search United Airlines to see saver availability, and that's kind of where award partners do see those seats. So if United has saver availability, you should be able to see and book that over on United as well. So also one thing you want to be looking at is sometimes there is what's called phantom availability over on United or on Aeroplan. Just means it looks like there's space available when there's really not. So if you find something, sometimes it's worth calling over and taking a look. So let's take a look here. We're going to go ahead and search from Newark to San Francisco. Now we're going to do this. This is going to serve two purposes. So you're looking to go in a couple weeks. So you're looking for a round trip ticket from November 7th to the 14th. This is what we're going to see here. So it's going to go ahead and load it up as well. All right, so here we go. So you can see here on United is offering 12,500 miles, and it's going to be $80. So United has what's called a close-in fee, which is going to be $75 when you book within 3 weeks of trying to book your award travel. So that does take a little bit of value outside of your points. So if you go down a little bit, you're going to see here. Oh, oh come on. Yes, it is. All right, this loads up. We'll jump over here. So we're going to search the same flight over on Aeroplan. SFO. And we're going to go November 7th to the 14th. And this is important because you're going to see here for that flight on United now, it was 25,000 miles and $86.20. But now for the same flight over here, booking on United Metal on Aeroplan, it's only 25,000 miles and $15. So you do save yourself quite a bit of miles on this. So to utilize that, it's very important to take a look at those, especially on the close-in fees, if there's availability. So I'm going to go back and show you what's called a multi-city ticket, and this is where you actually would utilize the stopover program to add a lot of value. Now, I'll tell you, I tried this on United earlier, and it did air out on me once, but we're going to give it a shot again so I can show you how valuable this perk can be. So, let's say you're looking to go from Portland, Oregon, over to visit some friends in Chicago. Now, these were random dates I selected, so March 5th. All right, you're going to go from Chicago. Now, you want to go visit some friends down in Miami, have a good time. Why not? All right, on the March 12th. Then you got to fly back home to Portland because we got to get back to work. All right, so you spend a couple of days there. And we're going to search here. And at the same time, while that's loading up, I'm going to go back to Aeroplan. Now, multi-city is a very good function for these here. Now, while we're doing this as well, Singapore Airlines also has a very similar program where they have the stopover, but it's not nearly as search friendly online. So what you would want to do in this case is you would want to search United, and we'll see that here in just a minute. And when you search United, you're going to write down those numbers. And when you write down those numbers, you're actually going to call into Singapore Airlines and feed those over to the representative. Now, I can tell you I've called Singapore Airlines numerous times, and their representatives are very good. I've never had an issue with them once, and they seem to pick up the phone quite quickly as well. So here we go. All right, so you can see now we'll start searching for these flights here. So over on United, let's pick one. So we're going to land on the 5th. I don't want an overnight flight. All right, so here we go. Same one here. And we're going to go ahead and book another ticket down to Miami. And then we're going to go Miami back to Portland. So over here, we're going to just book our ticket. And so right now, when we see Airplane showing you here, you're going to fly from Portland to Chicago. Going to spend about a week in Chicago, head on down to Miami for about a week, and head on home to Portland. And this here is only going to cost you 25,000 miles and $15. So that's the same cost as it was costing you from a round trip from Newark to San Francisco, but you've added extra value to your miles by having the stopover. And you can take a look. We're going to go ahead and book this last segment here on United, and you're going to see this is going to price out on United the same exact flight at 37,500 miles. So by doing this, you are saving yourself 12,500 miles by utilizing Aeroplan as opposed to using United for the same exact flights. So this is a pretty. Oh, did I not share that screen with you guys? Okay, I'm sorry, I must not have shown that. So as I walked through these here, and this one here is going to be 20. So from Portland to Chicago, Chicago to Miami, and Miami back to Portland, it's 25,000 miles here in $15. So this is really great because remember, you do get that stopover here in Chicago for a week. But over here on United, it was 37,500 miles and $11.20. So you do get extra value from those programs as well. So the next program, this year is just a really good value for Flying Star Alliance here in the States as well. And like I said, Singapore Airlines offers you something very similar, but I like the fact I can book Aeroplan right online, and it's just a great value. Next one we're going to look up is Flying Blue. So now Flying Blue is a part of the Sky Team. And so for domestic flights, which you're going to be flying, you're going to be flying on Delta Metal. So Delta's Flying Blue recently switched their award charts from a regular award chart to a dynamic award chart. So it means it fluctuates based on the cost of the price. It's been a little bit crazy, and sometimes business class tickets have been far cheaper than coach tickets. Don't ask me why. It's just a weird glitch in their system. So one thing you also remember, Flying Blue is a partner of Ultimate Reward membership rewards and thank you points. So these are very easy points to accumulate. So for one example, here we're going to go and look at flying from Atlanta up to Portland. We're going to do a one-way ticket going to go up on February 5th. Well, that searches, we'll hop over to Delta and find the same exact flight. So we're going to go to Atlanta, Portland, one way, and we want to search on February 5th. So while this looks here, you're going to see Atlanta to Portland, leave at 9 a.m. It's going to be 14,500 miles and $21. As it pulls up here on Delta, you're going to notice it's a little bit pricier for that same exact flight. So here you are, 11:30, 9 a.m. to 11:30, 14,500. That same exact flight on Delta, you're going to be flying the Delta Metal, is 17,500 miles. So you save yourself 3,000 miles here for flying the same exact flight. So while not exactly the most friendliest airlines with their, while Flying Blue hasn't been the most easiest, hasn't been easy since they've made the transitions, it does have added value. Now, one thing you do want to keep in mind is that if you're looking for international flights, they do pass on the fuel surcharges to their customers. So that's something you do want to keep in mind when you're looking at Flying Blue. Now, another big one that we're going to take a look at is Iberia. Now, a lot of people like to look at British Airways, and don't get me wrong, British Airways offers a lot of value. But for short hauls, I think a lot of people overlook Iberia Airlines, and you're going to see why it's actually, I think that's a mistake on a lot of people's cases. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen this time so you're not watching me. All right, so let's go over to Iberia. Now I'm going to go ahead. Using my Avios. So when you log on to Iberia, Iberia's website is a bit hit or miss at times. And what you can do is you can actually search American Airlines website for saver availability. Because remember that saver availability is going to kind of unlock a general guideline that partners can unlock and see those as well. So when you log into Iberia's website, you're not going to want to put your information here. Scroll on down here to booking with Avios, and you're going to see it opens up a lot more options for you. Oh. All right, so we'll hop over here to American as well, because we're going to book these same tickets. I'm going to show you how you can save almost 50% on this one ticket here. So, all right. So good. So let's say you're in Miami. You want to go up to DC for a short weekend or a longer weekend, and you have some points burning a hole in your pocket. So you're going to go on February 7th. You're going to come back on the 12th. We're going to look over here. Miami. Over to DC. This is from the 7th to the 12th. All right, now we're going to start searching. Now, with Iberia, you're going to see here you're flying nonstop direct from Miami to DC. And on the way home, you're flying again nonstop direct back home. So we're going to go ahead and price out these tickets here. Now, I did that, didn't I? All right. Got to search award availability if we want to find it, right? All right. So this here prices out at 17,000 Iberia Avios and $20. Now, what's important to remember is that currently American Express is offering a 40% bonus when you transfer membership reward points to Iberia, British Airways, or Aer Lingus. So right now, that means you'd only really need to transfer 13,000 membership reward points over to Iberia to book this round trip ticket. And that's really, that's actually a really solid value, because if you look, it's 12,500 miles each way on American Airlines. So you're going to spend 13,000 membership reward points as opposed to 25,000 American Airline miles. So it's the same exact flights, but it saves you almost 50% on those flights. And that's really important to see that partner and be able to utilize it. Now, Iberia's website isn't always the easiest. It is a little bit clunky and a little weird at times. And if you do find the saver availability on American Airlines, you will need to call into Iberia. You definitely want to be a little patient with them. Their representatives aren't always the greatest to work with, but keep working away. If it's saver availability, generally they should be able to see that for you. And the last one we're going to take a look at tonight before I start looking at questions from people is Virgin Atlantic. So Virgin Atlantic is a non-alliance partners. They're not part of SkyTeam, but they have like an individual agreement with Delta to kind of share award availability. And this is really nice because Delta's award system is dynamic. It's based on the price of the tickets. Although they've had these super awesome flash sales as of recently, it hasn't been that way always. Sometimes you find these crazy high tickets one week and super low the next. But Virgin Atlantic miles do have that standard chart, so you'll know it's the 12,500 for saver availability. And it does offer some oversized value for people who like to fly business class. Now, I'm not looking for business class tickets, so we won't be looking at that, but it is worth looking at. So we're going to look at an example here. Let's go back to sharing the screen. All right, so over here we're going to go ahead and look at Virgin Atlantic. We're going to do a round trip ticket from LA to JFK. We're going to go from March 7th to the 11th. There we go. We're going to hop on back over to Delta. And we're going to search round trip. LAX to JFK. 37 to 311. Now, as this comes up here, you're going to notice that ticket is 25,000 Virgin Atlantic miles and $11.20. Now, we're going to take a look. So you're going to see you're flying Delta. You can see it operated by Delta right here. We're going to go to the next step, book our flight home. You're going to see again, you're flying Delta. You can look operated by for 11,000 or 25,000 miles and $11.20. Now over here on Delta, that same exact flight is 28,000 miles round trip. And remember, Virgin Atlantic is a transfer partner of Membership Rewards, Ultimate Rewards, and Membership Rewards does occasionally offer transfer bonuses as well as City Thank You points. And for example, City Thank You points was just offering, I think it was a 30% bonus on miles transferred. So this would actually cost you 30% less to transfer over. So you can receive some oversized value from here as well. So these aren't all inclusive. I think it's just, remember, not all of these work out. While looking for examples, there were plenty of opportunities where Delta was better on their own metal than looking for alliance partners. But I think it's very important to understand looking at these partners can really offer you some value. So it does take a little bit more work. You can see, like, we just kind of just hit the ice, like the very skin level of this here. You could definitely go much deeper and you could find a lot of loopholes in these programs, but I don't believe many people are looking for those. But to be able to understand the fact that these here can really save you a lot of points and miles by learning even just a couple basics and playing around with these here. Now, let me see if there are some questions. Let's see. Really no questions about airline partners. All right. Let's see. Can I talk about having the $550 annual fee waive via Ameriprise? Absolutely. So for Motion, the Ameriprise card offers, it comes with the annual fee waive for the first year. So you would just apply for it and that will be waived for you. So, after the first year, and that includes up to 3 authorized users. So that's a big benefit because they get the lounge access to a Delta as well as the other perks that come with the authorized users for the Platinum card. After that, if you're playing 2-player mode, the other person could apply for it. You would cancel yours and just keep bouncing back and forth. Let's see, am I going to do a video for hotels? Nick Baby, what kind of video would you like me to do for hotels? I did one, I think, maybe a month and a half ago about best free night programs. I recently did one on Hilton and Marriott. So if there's one you want, please put it down. I'm always happy to review programs for people. So I think the Premier has a 50,000 bonus. With the City Premier did drop down to 50,000. That is accurate. They are refreshing the Prestige card as of January. So I wonder what they're going to do with the Premier card when that happens. So could I book a trip using Delta Air? Yes, Maddie. So what you're going to want to do is, you're going to want to search Virgin Atlantic, or you could also search Delta or you could call Virgin Atlantic and kind of feed them the numbers you're looking for. But you can book a trip using Virgin Atlantic miles on Delta Airlines. And that was the example I had shown here. Let's go back to sharing the screen. So that was this mile. This is this example here. So on this example, you're flying Delta Airlines. You're going to be flying on Delta Metal, but you're going to be using your Virgin Atlantic miles to do so. So this here is a way to fly Delta using your Virgin Atlantic miles. Now, they're not going to have every flight available on that. Remember, it's open when Delta gives them the availability to show it. But you can see here it is available, and it's going to save you 3,000 miles, for example, on this trip or on this example here. Stop sharing there. No, that's okay. No need to apologize. All right. How do you find these airline partners? Do you just look at the list? So, Nick, baby, to find these airline partners, you're going to want to hop over to whichever airline or which bank, whichever credit card company you're using to transfer your points from. And from there, you're going to see the available transfer partners you can transfer them to. And then from there, you can kind of, before you transfer your points, anytime, don't transfer your points without looking at these options first. Then you're going to look through the options that they offer, and you're going to go through and you're going to look to see which airlines you can use and give you the best value for them. About booking hotels with points, I can do a video on booking hotels with points. There's quite a few different options for that. That's not a problem whatsoever. I can put that in the works as well. No need to apologize, Maddie. It's not a problem whatsoever. So tell me, what did you think of this? Did you like seeing a step-by-step on utilizing some of these partners? I do want to give people value on these things. I know it's a bit different than my typical live videos where I answer questions and then answer your questions as well. But like I said, and I have always said, and I will say, I think it's important for people to understand the fact that alliance partners can offer a lot better value than booking directly with certain airline partners for the fact that they just offer oversized value. Based on your experience with the card program, IHG or Marriott, I would probably go Marriott over IHG just for the fact that they have a better award chart, at least right now. And I like the fact that you can transfer those to airlines at a better airline or at a better rate as well. Both charts are inflated, more so than we'll say like Hyatt. But, I think if I had to choose, I'd probably go with Marriott at the time, just for the fact I think it's just a little bit better right now. You're welcome, Maddie. All right. Like I said, if you guys like this, leave a comment down below. Let me know. I'm always happy to answer your questions. Thank you for joining me here on Halloween evening. Remember, I post new videos every Thursday. So if you like learning about credit cards, points, miles, cashback, or just flat out traveling for less, consider hitting the subscribe button down below. And I will be seeing you all tomorrow. Safe travel and take care, everyone.